Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hypnosis.
And Beyond.
Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing two people, the lovely married couple, Melanie McCool and Shawn Bray. They are the co-founders of Everything is a Win and Hypno Biz-in-a-box. Their mission is to help hypnosis be better understood, be used more by the general public, and help hypnotists be properly compensated for their deep subconscious work. Hey, Melanie and Shawn, thank you so much for joining us.
Lovely to be here.
Hey
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you so much.
Well, tell us a little about, for our viewers that might not know you, share with us a little bit of the journey that has led you to being a guest on Hypnosis and Beyond today.
How did we get here? And I would say through our big love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I run a MindWorks hypnotherapy. So I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm the entrepreneur's hypnotherapist, and I work mostly with women who have gone through burnout. So I help them to bounce back stronger than before. And after COVID, I was determined to regain a social circle, like friends. And so I was getting out into the community a lot. And I actually met this individual. He sauntered up, and I say sauntered up, to a drum circle.
I'd never been to a drum circle before,
But this is
but I'm a
something I've been doing
musician,
since I was a
but I don't often play.
Yeah.
I didn't play percussion. You know, I was a front guy, but I took a tambourine. Anyway, so what did I do?
sauntered up.
I sauntered up.
And I was like,
Nice.
I was just like, who is this guy? Never saw him before. And I just said, some of us are going dancing after this. And we went to an ecstatic dance place.
Well, also you got to know this was right after my surgery. I had literally been like 3 or 4 weeks after the surgery, and it was more pain than before the surgery. But I knew that the thing was fixed, you know. So I was like, I'm getting out, you know.
So he had a broken back, and he shows up,
Mm.
and I tell him we're going dancing.
I'm like, I don't know
The
about
place
this.
that we would go dancing has a very cushy floor. It's made for aerial yoga, so it's very bouncy floor.
Wow.
So I'm dancing my heart out. I turn around and I see him dance.
And I was about crying because when I walked in and because they said you got to take your shoes off. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be like, well, if you're going to go in, they got to take your shoes. So I took my shoes off, and when I stepped in, I stepped on that 6-inch cushioned floor, and I was like,
I can move.
and I jumped up and down. I was like, oh my God, I can dance.
And he really does dance. Okay? So big love, dance. This is a big spark. Anyway, long story short, he's an entrepreneur. He has his own business. I have my own business. We've got this thing in common: music, rhythm, dance, zest for life, we soon learned. And he didn't know I was a hypnotist. But he shared with me very, because we started dating, and he said he had a broken back. He was in a lot of pain. So I said, well, let's do something about that. So one of our dates on a beach, I had him sit down on the bench, and we did some work. And what do you say? A couple weeks later,
It's about 3 weeks later.
he realized that he couldn't find it. And now we have been.
You know, it was actually a thing where
Oh.
I should have been in. I did a move,
You
where I
should
was like, it had that done. I can't remember what it was exactly, but there was a reason why I was looking for it. I was like, wait a minute, don't get me wrong. I mean, it changed, transmuted, or it's not like I didn't know I had a back surgery. It's not like I didn't know I had my back was broken before. You know what I mean? But I wasn't in the same debilitating, inhibiting pain. So
Yeah. I run MindWorks hypnotherapy, and he's an operations guy. So I asked him to help me to streamline things, because I'm the entrepreneur's hypnotherapist and burnout recovery specialist. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm tying my business together with string, and it's burning me out. So we look at things,
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, the way she had it set up, it was. I mean,
but it's 25 years of how to.
this is also 4 years ago or 3 years ago, right? So I mean, a lot has changed technology-wise in the last 3 years, but then it was like that. It was brilliant. I was like, she's got the CRM, it works with calendars, it works with the funnels. She had everything going on.
But I had like 5 or 6 different lines.
But it was all over the place. And I think the reason I got pulled in on it is I think she was, at first, the first time was trying to troubleshoot something. And I was like, well, I think it's the CRM. And the CRM people said, no, it's the calendar. And the calendar people said, no, it's so
Does this
just
sound familiar?
I was like, that's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I know how to handle these things, but bottom line is,
But I did a lot of research and I suggested that I think there's a way to create this on one login, using one piece of tool and build it. And I just said those words. I said, here's my recommendation to her and her team. And I turned around a few weeks later. She comes, well, there was a lot of work involved for sure.
but I did. At that point, and see, I'd been working with entrepreneurs for about 5 years only on their mindset because I'd burned out. That's how I found hypnotherapy in the first place. And there was a point where I said, if there was anybody I was going to help in business, it was the hypnotists. It was the ones who were helping
Spiritual
people
entrepreneurs are
at
really,
the level that the world really desperately needs. First of all, because they're chill, cool people. They're my people.
They remind me so much of the musical artists I used to work with, because that was my past. It was in entertainment and music, and I would work after I had my time in the light. I started helping young artists and their parents, with Disney and Radio Disney and Nickelodeon and Sony, and just falling into pit holes. And
so he thinks of us as like the artists.
you've got the talent, you've got people around you, you know what I mean? But you feel alone. You don't really want to get into the business and don't know too much about it.
Don't want to do this.
Don't want to.
Really.
And I was like, I get that, I would like, because what I used to do with artists is try to protect them from that. You got to know a certain amount in order to police it, in order to know who to hire, in order to know, how to make sure that people are giving you what you paid for on a software platform or whatever it is. But after that, if you're artistically, creatively oriented, just get the systems in place and do that. And that's what hypnotherapists are much, much like. They do way better if everything's out of the way and they can just focus on the client in the session.
Yeah. So I would see my colleagues and I'd realize that they weren't having the success that I had, which was heartbreaking because I knew they had the skills and the talent, and the world desperately needs more of these sessions going on, period. That's what I was saying. We just need more hypnosis going on, more subconscious modalities going on. We'll even put it that way because I use that word broadly. And so as I said, I realized if I was going to help anybody in business, it was these people. So what I did was I put together the one login system and all of the systems that I needed to eliminate a whole lot of the admin work that I was doing around client sessions. So not only, what happens after they book a call in between and after the call's booked when they're a client, the follow-ups, all of that stuff, so that I could take a whole lot more work off my plate.
Right, but first what happened was that she had built it out, right? And said, okay, it's done and it's working. I'm like, okay, cool. I just wasn't paying. I was doing my own thing over here with my other business. She did it for her business.
And then it started.
We're at the beach again, right?
Having fun.
But we do this thing every now and then where we get together and we have sort of a family, a team meeting about our lives. So we're at the beach doing that. And her phone is just blowing up. I'm like, can you just turn that off? She goes, those are booked consultations.
The book consultations.
And that one's a sale. And I'm like, what? So this system that she had created, she had pushed the go button on it on Friday. And by Sunday, it was just... Yeah. And it hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped.
So then she comes skipping and frolicking out of this office about a week later, and she goes, I know how we're going to do it. Because we were thinking about doing a school.
I was going to do a school.
And training other hypnotherapists. And I was like,
burnout recovery.
And we were seriously looking at how to get that scaled and everything. Mm-hmm. But in my research, I had found so many super cool OGs in this business that are teaching people, like, we're not needed in that. There's already cool people doing that. And then when she came out of the office and said, we're going to do this, and I'm like, how do you do that?
I had an idea because I've been teaching. So the backstory is I've been teaching people how to build online business since like 2006. So this wasn't new to me. I just had stopped doing it for a time because I'd burned out on it. It's fair. And I realized that I would never let myself burn out again, and that I could teach people how to build a business. That's where Everything's a Win and Hypno Biz-in-a-box came in. So now our big love has major mission.
That was the theme of our wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big love. Because we kept saying we have there's
This big vision.
we have big vision, and we didn't even know what it was. It was like, but we love so big, and what is that going to do? So we over time have realized we actually have a mission. It resonates completely. It's to help make hypnosis better understood and more utilized by the general public, and to help hypnotists be properly compensated for the profound work we do. And everything that we do aligns with that. So if it aligns with that, we're in. If it doesn't, we're out. Like, it's not necessary, right? So that also meant that a couple of years ago, one of my instructors, one of my dear certifying instructors, asked me to become the president of the Hypnosis Education Association, which is a not-for-profit that was established in 1998.
Yeah.
So I'm president, he's VP, and we're sitting there going, how are we going to take on a not-for-profit? What are we doing? And then we had thought about our mission.
We did some muscle testing,
Muscle tested, and we muscle tested the mission there. We were just like, I guess we have to do this, and it's freaking amazing. It's so cool.
I was really concerned that it was going to take energy away from other stuff, but it really. I got to tell you, like, business wise, if I were to consult with somebody, I would probably bring it in a strategy that if you can, if it's in alignment, get yourself set up with a nonprofit organization, and then have the two kind of work with each other. And that's kind of what we're doing with Hypnosis Education Association, because a lot of the schools and the associations, they don't include the business training for the hypnotherapist when they get certified. And even when they do, it's so scratchy surface level that it's not enough to launch a business. And the truth is that a hypnotherapist is a straight up entrepreneur, whether they like it or not. And in order to succeed, they got to do what entrepreneurs do. And that's, again, where Melanie's system comes into place, that just maps the whole thing out on what they got to do, and all the tools and everything included, and with mentorship and the community to help cheer them on, or pull them up when they're feeling down, or whatever the case is, celebrate with them.
So somehow we've built this, or I'm going to say we built it, because some of it was like given to us. Here, let me put this into your ecosystem.
Right, we've kind of just merged with other little cells of communities. So
we have the technology, we have the training to use the technology to build a business, and we have the mentorship from not just myself, but the whole community of the Hypno Connect, the people who are part of the Hypnosis Education Association. Some of them have been in business 50 years in alternative healing, and way
beyond, because with Hypnosis Education Association, we've got such unique things that are on the horizon, like publishing some books with articles that date back, the early parts of hypnosis, coming onto the scene, like from real OGs that they're compiling. We're compiling for a book, and maybe even some documentary type stuff.
But for now, the mentorship in the community is built up around all the people who are in our ecosystem, and it's just brilliant. It's beautiful. So we do a lot, but hopefully you see from Big Love, that's actually birthed all of this, and here we are sitting here on a Monday.
And it really is what guides us each time, too. Yes, we are business people, and we run our businesses like businesses. But before we get into our businesses, we're out here looking at it just like it's an entity. And how can we support it, since it's supporting so many people, and those people are supporting so many people.
I don't know if you're familiar with the idea of if you have a soul goal, If it's your soul goal, you're compelled. There's nothing you can do
Yeah.
to stop yourself from doing the thing.
This ain't work.
This ain't work. Right. So
Yeah.
we wake up, we do the thing. It's like, this is our soul led. And as long as it's right there for us. And I keep being told, yeah, the world needs more of this deep, deep work, the deep change work.
Yeah, and any
Absolutely.
hypnotherapists that are listening right now, we invite you into our communities, however you feel like you would fit in right now. I mean, I make calls. I've changed it now to once a week, where I'll talk to several hypnotherapists throughout the day, new hypnotherapists that I've never met before. But no matter where it is, whether it's coming in through HEA or through one of our groups or Hypno Biz-in-a-box, doesn't matter. There's definitely a space being held for you.
Yeah.
What a lovely welcoming message, and I think you point out that you are a solo, entrepreneur doing everything, marketing,
Yeah.
accounting,
Yeah.
and then also the healing. So it is really exciting to learn of a community where people can, commiserate and celebrate and all of those
Yeah.
Not
things.
feel
Celebrate.
alone.
And
Totally.
not feel alone, exactly.
Mhm.
And I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about encouraging people to be compensated for healing work, because I think most people that are in a healing space at some point grapple with the idea of what to charge, how to charge, knowing the value of what they're bringing to the table, but putting a monetary amount can be, a challenge. So I'd love to hear how you
Let
help
me
people,
say something first,
sort
and
of
then you
decipher.
do. I know what you're going to get.
You do?
I have a feeling. I'm just going to give a little bit before she starts. So keep this in mind, because I talked about whenever I talk to a hypnotherapist that questions, oh, I can't do that. Hey, listen, when you're on an airplane and they say in case of emergency, do they tell you to take that oxygen mask and put it on the person next to you, or to put it on yourself? They say to put it on yourself for a reason, because you wouldn't be able to help anybody else if you were lacking oxygen. So, with that same idea, I'll hand it over to this
Yeah,
one.
like you said, it's an oxymoron to have a stressed out healer.
Right.
Right. And one of the main things that people are stressed about is that there's a scarcity mindset. It's a fear and lack of them not being supported by their work. And what I find is that we have people who are incredibly, skilled, and
Brilliant.
their belief is up here, and their business acumen's down here. And somehow, if they don't get the support that they require, they let that make them believe, maybe I'm not made to do this. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this way, but that's bull. Okay. Get your skill level up so that you can see those clients and charge what, I don't, it's not charge what you're worth. It's actually easier if you are certified in a certain, through a school or something, because they might have a suggestion on what a minimum, to charge is. But with the thousands of people that we've spoken to, and now the people that work in our subscribers, essentially, I have, in my opinion, there is a minimum amount to charge, bare minimum. If you're charging less than that, then you are devaluing the profession. You're devaluing your work, and that's actually $250. And I don't care if your first session's an hour or 4 hours. It's way too low if it's 4 hours, but some people do. But that's it. If you're charging less than that, you're devaluing what you're doing, because that subconscious change work is, the
value. I mean, come on, think about it. The
you-
value to me of being able to walk around and dance. Oh my God! I'd have paid millions for it.
Right.
I was paying all kinds of money to get other stuff done that did not solve the problem.
Yeah, and if you've seen enough clients, you've had somebody tell you,
Yeah.
like I've been told,
Been
you
everywhere.
just helped me more than 17 years of therapy. Okay, so the deep subconscious change work is incredibly valuable. So the minimum of 250, I'm just going to put it out there. Like if you aren't charging that, then start do the muscle testing thing. Like literally come up with a price that feels like it's close to that until you can say that's what I'm going to charge. But then we actually, in our school of thinking. We don't charge per session. We charge per outcome. And it's $250 would be the bare minimum for each of the sessions that you would do for that outcome. So does that help? I hope it helps somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if we just start right there, because if people are charging what the masseuse is charging, or charging
Right.
what the therapist is charging, but the therapist is also getting insurance, so that doesn't make any
Or if
sense.
you charge per hour, you're making it very difficult to do any type of scaling.
Yeah, but even on that end, just starting with the bare, like, don't undervalue what you're doing.
Yeah, and once you have, if it's not 250, maybe it's a little bit below that. Wherever you get, like what she said, wherever you get comfortable. But once you got that in place, there's actually a formula on when to raise your prices
Okay,
and how much to do it.
Sure, it's simple. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So you set a price, and then when you are getting 80% or more yeses,
Just lay downs.
raise your rates. When you're booked out, raise your rates. And when you're on that call with your ideal client, you've already helped so many people like them, and you know that you're going to take them from suffering wherever they are to flying and happy so fast it's going to spin their head. And you just gave them your old price. I'm going to call it your old price. And you felt like you just I was like, I can't believe I just did that to myself. That very next call, you raise that rate. And never ever charge that old price again, because the confidence that you get from working with clients is going to tell you when it's time to raise your rates.
And I use this in one of my other traditional businesses that doesn't have anything to do with healing or anything like that.
And you feel the
And I felt more than than I did anything. I was like, God darn it. I raised all those prices and nobody batted an eye.
Nobody does.
So.
And I will also say, I'm not the one that's going to come out here and say premium rates,
No, high ticket.
I'm not going to say that. But whatever you charge, as long as it's more than enough to support yourself, right? You always have the option to have a sliding scale for people who cannot afford it.
Again, the oxygen mesh. As long as your needs are taken
My
care
needs are
of
taken
and
care
you're
of.
not operating from lack,
Yeah.
now you're offering a true gift. Now you're really giving somebody what they need, because otherwise, believe me when I tell you this, because I had service providers serve me in lack and they just delivered me some lack. So you're not really helping people when you're in a session and you're not whole.
And I just had a client come to me it was a referral from her daughter who I helped 5 years ago with what I don't remember, honestly. But she needed help to go into surgery without phobia. She had a major phobia, has to go for surgery on Wednesday this week. And when I told her my rate, she was like, oh, I'm going to have to think about that. I'm like, okay, wait, tell me what's going on. Because is it that you don't think that this is going to help you, or is it the pricing? And she just straight up said the reasons why. And I was like, it's okay. And I brought my rate down less than half. And she was like, okay, because I'm going to help my client's mom, but my needs are met. So you can charge more and still have that sliding scale. So for all of you who are out there thinking there's some coldness to this, there's nothing cold about it.
It's total warm.
Nothing. Yeah.
If you love yourself, and yeah, save a lot of that room for yourself.
It's just so interesting, right, to be in a space where you're helping people build themselves up, because, of course, a hypnotherapist doesn't do the work for the client.
Right.
It's the client doing it.
Wow.
And so isn't it funny, just the idea of you're doing this work to help them see their own value, and yet so many hypnotherapists neglect to see perhaps their own value.
Yeah.
It really is astonishing.
I developed a self-hypnosis course for entrepreneurs. It's program for prosperity. So I'm a developer of that program, and it's all about this. It is for all of the reasons why people will undercharge, why they find it hard to have a call, with just all the things
Brilliant course.
to do with money. Yeah, as the entrepreneur's hypnotherapist, that was like the work that I had to deliver to the world, that I'm still delivering and use with my clients one-to-one. They go through it while they work with me. Yeah.
I just have a question about Hypno Biz-in-a-box. As far as I looked into it, and I understand you have a mastermind in there in various things. So as far as this self-sabotage for entrepreneurs, is that part of it? Like you said that there's the practical end of it, obviously, and getting people, website and getting going and stuff. But a little bit of that mindset stuff, is that in there, or is that a
Yeah,
separate
well,
separate
it's
thing?
weaved into every course that I ever create because that's just who I
Okay.
am and what I do with my training. Um, but I also when I work with somebody in what we call foundations to scale, that my program for prosperity work is actually included. So it's not only let's do step by step, get you from wherever you are to that place where you know you can build a six-figure and multiple six-figure business. But it's what's stopping you? What's holding you? What is going on today? What are you afraid of? And we're working through that stuff. So absolutely. I mean, it is. Another thing I've had people say is, I wish I'd had this work before I started the business side. So the program for prosperity, like mindset, before they took all the courses in business development, because they got a whole box of shouldas, or a whole bunch of programs with a whole bunch of checklists that they never applied. But once you get your head and heart on board with your sole goal, right, it gets easier to go
Wow.
back. And I say it kind of puts all those things together. So it's easier for you to actually apply everything that you've already done.
Yeah, we had a light shined on this. We recently, through the Hypnosis Education Association, we hosted the first ever Hypnosis Business Summit, and we're going to have one every year. Apparently, it's the first one in the space in general. I was a little amazed by that, but and through that we saw that, well, gosh, a lot of hypnotherapists could really use, could work with a hypnotherapist. So on Wednesdays,
Yeah,
starting
cool.
next month, it's called Humpday Hypnosis for Hypnosis Business Owners. And hypnotherapists volunteer, because HEA is a not-for-profit, to provide a hypnosis session, a 20-minute hypnosis session for their fellow hypnosis business owners. And that's going to get plopped into the group there, and it'll always be available. And they'll be,
That's what I love about
separated out on what, particular, vibe or,
Yeah, we really have a community. So we'll have people who are going to be delivering things on imposter syndrome, inner critic, price, whatever the heck the things are, for our fellow hypnotists. So we're going to do a bit of hypnosis. Hypnosis, as we should just say, hypnosis is different from hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is going to get to the root and pull out the weeds before you plant the seeds. But a bit of hypnosis on a hump day, on a Wednesday, to keep you moving through the week, I think we'd just like to plug into that. It'll be fun. For sure. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to look into everything. You guys are just amazing. Wow.
Good.
So inspiring.
Appreciate you.
Well, thank you for saying that.
We love hearing about all the things going on in this space, and finding the way that you've found to bring in the nonprofit and the business and the soul connection, and just all, it sounds like you've kind of done life in a box.
We're still figuring out what's supposed to go in the box, what's not supposed to be in the box.
That's cute. That's
Trust
cute,
me,
yeah.
every day. Trust me, every day we're learning and adjusting.
And with that, that brings us to our next segment, our silly subconscious question.
All right.
Now, how fun for us to have two guests.
Yeah.
So today we get to do it a little bit differently. We will ask you, Melanie, first our question, and then Shawn, because we want your first off the cuff answer, of course.
From the gut.
And so,
Feet on the floor.
Miss Melanie, what we'd like to know is, if your brain had a screensaver, what would it be?
Oh, it would be when I was flying through the air on a zip line. I did a alchemy retreat, and we did this thing where before I led them through a process to ditch their fear. I don't just say ditch, transmute their fear to, and mine was to freedom. So when you said that, it is that it is freedom. It is me flying through the air, screaming, freedom. It's fine.
Yay, I love it.
I
That's
love
a good
it.
one.
Yeah, that's the first thing. I was like, wow, I need that. I need that on the screensaver. I don't realize that. I
Beautiful.
don't have that on the screensaver.
And for
We
that.
have it. Yeah, no joke. Awesome.
Ah, I love it. Wonderful. Okay. Well, Mr. Shawn,
Yes.
it's now your turn.
Okay.
Your silly subconscious question is, which smell instantly changes your mood?
Which smell instantly changes my mood? Um, Melanie's neck.
Nice.
That is, it
We
is.
did say big love.
Instantly.
It's an honest answer. Hey,
Honest.
We're married.
That's
We are married.
it's allowed.
It's encouraged. It's encouraged.
And our next question is our beyond question. Beyond what we've spoken of today, is there anything you'd like to share with the viewers? A little bit about you.
Yeah, I would. I'd like to share about what it's like to be in business with your love and to choose love every day. And to choose love over anything else. So yes, we're in business and we both have a very good instinct for making things successful. But we also have a blended family. We both have 2 kids each who are about the same age. Gone through so many things over the last couple of years. I lost my mom. And yeah, choosing love every day.
Yeah.
That big love that was, that started that. I just wanted to put it out there that love is not something that, we have some, lucky thing going on here, though we often
It wasn't
say that.
given.
It wasn't given. It's something that we actually work on
Created.
every day. And part of that, I would actually I'll even add is the knowledge that we all need our own hypnotists or hypnotherapists, right? That none of us who are in business or running life should be trying to do this without that, every once in a while, there's something you need somebody else to help you through. So I will add that love is a choice and so is your happiness. One of my the mottos for my business is the happier you are, the more money you make. And that's not a flippant thing. That's some serious. So if you're not happy, especially about your business, you better believe you better get some hypnosis to fix that because you're just going to burn it to the ground. So that's what I got. You got
Yay,
anything?
love.
Yay, love.
Wonderful. Well, we so appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, and you brought so much to the table, and thank you for your nonprofit work and all of that. And we look forward to catching up with you next time.
And hanging out again.
Oh,
And
yeah.
All right.
Then with that, what do we always say?
Peace out.
Peace out. Love
Peace
them.
out.
I love it.